Yeah, my first trip Wednesday ended up northwest of Calgary, where you have all these mansions, and I'm in a pickup truck, so I just delivered an insulation vacuum. It's like a super powerful vacuum that and a bunch of hoses and barrels, like 6-inch, 4-inch, and usually, you know, when I have to remove the old insulation. And I knew I was at the right place because I see this garbage container here and nobody seems to be around, so I just dropped unloaded everything, took a picture because I know it's an expensive machinery and nobody to receive it, and send it to the customer. Delivered. Now check out this bad boy right here. What do you guys think? 5,000 square feet. Now that one is probably same 4, so each house has like 5 acres of land. You know that these people don't drive trucks for a living. And today's Wednesday. I was supposed to do some kettlebells yesterday, got lazy, didn't do anything because I work physical at work. And so today, Wednesday, right, so I'm doing stamina training Monday, Wednesday, Friday, allegedly. But the forecast calls for rain, and I don't want to get my bike dirty.
At the stop sign, turn left onto Highway 1A.
Yeah, speaking about the bike, that new saddle or seat is super comfortable. I'm super happy. It was only what, like 40-50 bucks, but a huge improvement. So much you know, nicer now to ride that bike. And I talked to Bike and Brew where I got it. I see mountains look gorgeous today. So I talked to, so that's west, this is Highway 1A. So I talked to Bike and Brew, and I said, how can we make the bike a bit faster? And I said, no problemo, we can give you a bigger cog in the back. Because of course you can change the rear cog, or you can change the front one. But the front one has
7 kilometers. Take the exit onto Highway 201 North and Stony Trail.
The front one has pedals, and it's a much bigger part, right? So that definitely would be more expensive. So yeah, it has less teeth, it's smaller, much smaller part. So I went to the website of, you know, my bike's brand is called All City. So I found their website, it's All City Bicycles. And on the gear, they have different components listed on their website, and I checked to see what's available for the rear cogs, and I have quite a few. You know, you can choose stainless, which is more expensive. You can choose regular metal cog, and they have them in, like my current one is 18 teeth, right? So I need a smaller one in order to make the bike slightly faster. So they have 17 teeth cogs, they have 16 teeth cogs, and those range in price from 20 bucks to like 60. I guess it's US. And so yeah, the guy in the shop says, yeah, no problem, we can do it. He says 20 bucks for installation, and the parts are just like I said, 20 bucks to 50 bucks. He says, we have them in stock. When would you like to come in? I said, well, I work during the day and you guys close at 5, so, but I know you open Saturday, so how about I come this Saturday first thing in the morning? And the guy says, yeah, just drop off the bike, and then I guess I'm gonna kill some time there in downtown, and maybe the weather's good, so I'll try to ride it. But yeah, I don't want to make it too fast because then it'll be difficult to pedal on hills. So we're just going from 2.44 rotations of the wheel to 2.75. So one rotation of pedals will increase how much distance the wheel travels, so that will increase speed, at 80 RPM, roughly, you know, 80 revs per minute on pedals, the speed should go up from 25 kilometers an hour to 28.8. So basically I gained 3 kilometers an hour, you know. But some crazy people, they do like 48-16, which means that 3 rotations of the wheels happen after one cycle over the pedals, which I think is a bit too much. That's more for track, you know, for totally, I think, flat surface. I'm talking about single speed bikes and fixed gear bikes. So yeah, so that was my first delivery of the day, and no pickups, so I'm just heading back empty. This is Highway 1A, so the plan is to jump on the ring road, 201 Stony Trail, and go towards the airport. So if it does not rain today, then I'll go for a bike ride. I really love that bike. Customer, so PTO off, suspension up, and then we have to press this magic red button to turn off the remote, otherwise the battery dies after a few months. Yeah, I'm in Airdrie, just north of Calgary. All I have to do now is write down my time of departure. 9:16 a.m. and that's it. So now we can head back to the yard and see what they give us next. So this was a pretty big scissor lift. It can go 40 feet in the air. That's what 40? Yeah, 40 by 46, so it can go 40 feet in the air, and it's 46 inches wide. Weighs about 7,000 pounds. So double trailer, 3 axles on the truck, 3 in the middle and 2 in the back, and he has a topping system. Cascadia Metals is moving metal. Well, just picked up my favorite machine, skid steer, with forks attached, and then on top of forks there's a smooth bucket. So it took a while to secure the bucket, because I tried to turn it lengthwise, because then it's easy to put straps across it, right? But it's so freaking heavy. I started turning and then I realized that I won't be able to turn it the entire way, you know, like lengthwise. Right, so put it back, put a chain on it and 1 strap. And 4 chains, 4 binders on the skid steer. And here it looks like that's what they've been doing. You see some pallets with some blocks, cedar blocks or whatever they're called, like concrete. So they're probably paving, they're doing some paving in the back of the house. And this is southwest Calgary. The trees are in full bloom, so the spring is here. This guy has a Canadian flag, which is a bit unusual, because normally Canadians are not as patriotic as Americans. But after Mr. Trump introduced the tariffs, we became patriotic, and everybody's uniting against the US tariffs. Anyway, so now I'm ETA back to the shop is 11:45. Perfect timing. I'm gonna stop for lunch somewhere on the way, take my 30 minutes, and keep working. But I noticed that once you get to the lunch break, after lunch things move much faster, because here from 7 to 12, let's say it's 5 hours, right? But from 12 to 4 it's only 4 hours. But sometimes I stay longer, right? It all depends on the demand, how many pickups and deliveries they have. Like yesterday they let me go with like at 3 o'clock. Monday it was a short day. I didn't even take my lunch break because we were open till 12 only. So anyway, I have to get going because it's very narrow here. I'm creating a commotion. Now check out this nice Challenger, and I don't see any any lettering, so it looks like it's a regular GT with a V6 engine, but still looks pretty good. I remember when I was dropping this machine, this thing was parked behind me over here. So I delivered this, which means that it's been like 2 months they had this. When did they? So now it's May 21st. Oh no, May 6th. Okay, so they had it for 15 days, 2 weeks. Well, I just had my lunch at the Mucho Burrito, and next to it is a Darwin's Chicken, like a barbecue chicken, and that place used to be super good. The best dish they had was pulled chicken sandwich. Like, it was so soft, you know, the meat was like pulled pork at Mucho Burrito, except it tastes a bit better because it's chicken. And so it used to be so good. You would get that with a coleslaw on the side. And so a couple of days ago I came here again, and the chicken is all overdone, like, you know, hard, and there's no coleslaw on the side anymore. They just put coleslaw right on the sandwich, and all you have is just a sandwich, and it's like 20 bucks, you know. And there's smoke inside because they have all these you know, barbecues right there, and it's so smoky. So I think same chef, but I think they're overdoing it, you know. So, and it often happens to restaurants, right? They start very nice because they want customers, but then, you know, once they have too many customers, they get tired, so they don't care anymore. So basically, Darwin's Chicken is off my list, but Mucho Burrito, usually I get a big burrito with pulled pork, but now I see that she was making tacos for a guy in front of me, and I said, oh cool, you have tacos. I did not realize that. So I got 3 tacos, and then I said, how much for extra one? She just, I think she did like $4. And so I got 2 tacos with pulled pork and 2 tacos with beef, and then she adds guacamole there, you know. What was it, parsley? Like, it's so good, so good. So yeah, time now is, what time now? 12:12. Okay, I told my boss, I said I'm taking a break till 12:20 because I stopped when it was 11:50. So just mark, you know, 30 minutes. I don't cheat. And also we have here Wendy's, we have Tim Hortons, we have a pizza place, Spirit Leaf, I guess it's a wheat store, liquor store, and Reflex Supplements. Never been there. So we're close to the airport. Basically this is Barlow Trail and Country Hills Boulevard, and further down there, like, this is some kind of manufacturing facility. Yeah, because I've been on the other side where they have docks, but this big building over there on the other side of this, there's a Gold Gym in there. Gold Gym. Oh, I see one of our trucks. guy's pulling out in a pickup truck. I guess he stopped there for fuel, or for fuel, and there's an A&W in there. A&W, you know, the burger place. So unfortunately, yeah, A&W, too bad they stopped offering bison meat. That was like amazing, you know. They had a promotion a few years ago. I remember I did not live here at that time, but I was just passing through in my semi-truck. And I remember I stopped somewhere, it was Alberta for sure. And there was a sign saying that we are serving bison meat. You know, like you can choose regular beef or bison meat. I never tried it, so I said, okay. Is there any price difference? I think they said, I don't remember, I think they said no. And so now every time I go there, I ask, are you guys gonna get the bison meat again? They said, we don't know. So basically it was like a trial. Maybe they didn't get enough orders, but it's no longer on the menu. Okay, 12:14, what the heck, I'll start driving. I don't need 30 minutes. By the way, our mechanics, what's interesting, like not mechanics, the guys in the shop that deal with customers and fix equipment that's returned, like we also have real mechanics. Those usually deal with big machines, you know, like a skid steer or excavator, but a regular small stuff is serviced by shop guys, and we have like 5 or 6 of them. And they deal with customers, and then when something is returned, they clean it up, fix it, check oil, whatever, if it needs oil, you know, like all small stuff, like those portable saws, you know, like electric saws, or some I wanted to say vibrators, no, the you know, the ones that you use to make the ground harder. What do you call it? It just slipped my mind, but you know, that thing that tamper, yeah, tamper with the plate at the bottom. I hate those, they're so heavy. And then of course scissor lifts, super lifts, the ones that people just use to lift something like a small mini forklift. So yeah, lots of interesting machines in there, but I love dealing with this because I get to drive them. So now when I bring it back to the shop, because it has forks and a bucket, so first I'm gonna drop the bucket in the spot where we have smooth buckets, because we have one row with smooth buckets and one row with the tooth buckets. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm dropping it in the right correct row, and then I'm gonna go to the spot where we have forks. And on this one, yeah, it's like you have to disconnect the attachment. You have to hold one button at the top left that has a picture of a padlock, like opened padlock. You hold that, and then you flip like a little dial on your right joystick simultaneously. So it requires a lot of coordination. And after that, I park it near the mechanic's entrance, and then they take care of it, you know, fuel it up, check for damage, stuff like that. And then when it's ready, they put the tag on, ready to rent, and they put it outside where all the other skid steers are. And then let's say I get an order saying, hey, deliver a skid steer. I look at the number, like our catalog number, to make sure I'm grabbing the right one, and I go there, pick it up, load it, deliver. Another happy customer, you know. Well, my first stop is at the Bobcat dealer, and they have some cool machines inside, you know, like brand new Bobcats. And there's some sitting over here. See that one? So that's a tracked Bobcat T76. And then we have here some with specialized attachments. And then they have those kind of like forklifts, I'm guessing, off-terrain. No, actually, no, they're not forklifts. They're also like Of course, Bobcat I-95, so a much bigger machine. Kind of like a, yeah, it's like a wheel loader. But inside they have one wheeled skid steer and one tracked. And I was just curious, I said, what do they retail for? The guy gave me the price, so I was surprised to learn that it's not as crazy as I thought it would be. But what's interesting is that the difference between a tracked machine and a wheeled machine, same machine, just one has wheels and tires, the other one has tracks. So the one with tracks is 15,000 more expensive. 15,000. But overall, you know, if I had a staff of mechanics, you know, it would be cool to buy one of these and just rent it out. But I see how people abuse them, you know, when they come back, something is broken, or they always super dirty because of course skid steers, you know, they work in the mud, and weather like this one, it's raining, so you have to wash them, and dirt gets in those rubber tracks. So basically, to have one of these,
Turn right.
it's a lot of work to maintain them.
Turn left onto 112th Avenue Southeast. Then turn left onto 42th Street Southeast.
But I remember I saw one guy in the States. I was sitting at a truck stop. It was winter and fresh snow just fell down. And a guy shows up with a pickup truck and a small trailer. And in the back he has, it was like a small, it was a small skid steer on the trailer.
At the stop sign,
with,
turn left onto 42th Street Southeast. Then turn right onto 114th Avenue Southeast.
With the snow bucket. Okay, I think, yeah, it was a truck stop, like a small truck stop. And so this guy shows up, unloads the skid steer, and then starts cleaning the snow. So basically, you buy one of these, all you need is just one machine, and you can be a contractor. But you probably need some kind of a license, I don't know. So yeah, I love these machines.
At the light, turn right onto 114th Avenue Southeast.
And I'm next to Flying J on Barlow Trail, south of Calgary. Spent many nights in here.
Second lane from left.
Diesel today is 137. Gas is
At the next
135.
light, turn left.
That's not good price. Second stop, picked up a starter for a Bandit stump grinder. So now off to my last stop. So yeah, this one is done. So the last stop, I'm going to, you know, big place called Granger. Like they sell all kinds of, you know, like all kinds of stuff, including safety boots and gloves, you know. But I'm picking up some kind of a sink faucet. Sink faucet. All right, let's go. So that's my last stop, and time now is already 2 o'clock. See, like after lunch, time flies. And on the forecast, they said 1 millimeter precipitation. It's been raining for the past 2 hours. More like 10 millimeters. Like these guys can never get it right, you know. And of course, yeah, I was planning to ride my bike. No way I'm gonna ride on the when it's so wet and dirty. that's it. It's 4:15, 15 minutes past 4. I'm heading home. This is probably the longest I worked this week, which I guess is good on one hand, but by the end of the day, I'm gonna say it's all kind of like a blur. You know, I don't remember how many trips I did because it's like a merry-go-round. You know, this way, that way. But my last trip, they sent me to pick up the same machine I dropped off in the morning. So yeah, the guy just used it for a couple of hours, like a big scissor lift. What is it, 40 by 46? And that's it. And tomorrow is gonna be interesting because I see our other driver has a trailer hooked up to the pickup truck, and it's full of scaffolding frames. So he probably has about 50 or 60 frames, and I only see frames and braces. And they told me that my Freightliner will be carrying decks. And I said, how many decks? They say 30 decks. So of course I have to load them, right? And I still had some hope for a good life. I said, are they 7-foot decks or 10-foot decks? And my hopes were crushed when dispatch said 10-foot decks. Man, 30 10-foot decks. So that's my gonna be my load number 2 tomorrow, because the other guy preloaded already for tomorrow, right? And so I went to get this scissor lift and Airdrie, and I said, you want me to preload the decks for tomorrow? And dispatch says, no, there'll be another delivery before that, so we'll do that and then you'll load. So no need to preload. So yeah, so tomorrow gonna be it's a very noisy Kia Sportage is passing me. 1.2 liter engine. So yeah, now I'm heading home, and my customer was supposed to return my Durango at 11 o'clock this morning, and then he texts me and he says, if you're okay with this, we'd like to extend the rental by a few hours. I said, okay. Like, I don't have any bookings after that, but I did not tell him that. I just said, yeah, it's okay. If you want, extend, but just please make it official on the app. You know, like he has to open the app on his phone and change the return date or time. But I don't know if they did not allow him to extend just by a few hours, because I got a notice that says your customer changed the return date. Okay, I look at the new information and it says, so now he's returning the car at 11 a.m. tomorrow, so 1 day more. Yahoo! Right away my earnings jump up by 70 bucks. Yes! So originally I was making $230 only, which is like unbelievable. But now I'm making $300. And what's interesting is that I never had this situation before where he texts me again on the app. You know, like I get an email and it says, you received a message from, you know, the rental company. Okay, I open that one up and the guy says, I'm gonna return the vehicle at 3 p.m. And I said, well, on my end it says that your trip ends at 11 a.m. tomorrow, Thursday. So I said, you might want to adjust that or update that in order to avoid extra charges. So, you know, I'm doing my part, right? I cannot change it for him. And he didn't say anything. He said, are you gonna be there? I said, no, I'm at work. Just hide the key where I showed you and we should be good. And so as always, of course, I'm a bit anxious. I already found one thing, so I found a tiny small chip on the windshield, which I did not see before, like because it was at the very bottom of the windshield under the wiper, under the wiper blade. You know, it's hard to see. And I'm gonna check my coverage. I don't know if on this one, like I know on the Jeep I have this. It's kind of like a warranty where they fix your chips and on the windshield, and if you have like a dimp, you know, in your metal somewhere in the door, they fix it. Not like hail damage massive, but if it's like, I already used it twice on the Jeep because there was a gust of wind when I was opening the door, and the door swung open and hit the mirror of the pickup truck next to me. Nothing, not a scratch on the mirror of that guy, but my door, like the metal, you know, that's one thing I don't like. I'm super happy with this Jeep, by the way. But one of the things I don't like is that the I never saw such thin metal as on this vehicle. Like basically you can hit it like this with your fist and there'll be you'll see a trace, you know, like a footprint, you know, so to speak. Like all these other ones I had before, even like a car, you know, like a Dodge Charger or Challenger, they had thicker metal. I don't know what's with this. So it's super flimsy, very easy to damage, very easy to get you know, into trouble. And so yeah, I have like a folder at home for the Durango, and I'm gonna check my, because I know I prepaid oil changes, right? Actually, and it worked. This time I was afraid they would say, no, we don't see anything. But the South, what they call South Trail Chrysler, I said, how will they see, like if I go to a different dealership for oil change, how will they see that I have prepaid oil changes? And she said, well, as soon as they punch in your VIN number, they'll see it on the screen. She says it's hooked up to your VIN number, so you don't have to go to the same dealership where you bought the car. And it worked, you know. When they told me the Durango, I did that oil change last Saturday, I asked them and they said, no, you don't have to pay, it's all here. And I asked them how many changes I have, and it's something kind of like warranty. It's basically like, I forgot, but a lot of free changes, and it's up to a certain mileage. But yeah, so I'm a bit anxious as always to yeah, let's go this way, so that hopefully, you know, the car, like the rims are not bent, you know, he didn't cut the tires. Because to give you an example, one guy, I'm guessing he was driving in the mountains somewhere, and he told me, hey, I'm gonna wash the car before I give it up, it's a bit dirty. Because, you know, I posted a note, like on the app you can create a custom message, like instructions to customers, and I said, and what I typed in, I said, if the car is returned in an extremely dirty condition, a $150 cleaning fee can be applied. And so this guy, I guess he got scared that he'll lose $150, and so he says, I'll wash the car. I said, okay. So of course they have to fill it up, they have to return it with a full tank of gas. But normally, you know, you don't wash it, but this guy kind of like volunteered. And at first I was happy, and then when I saw the car, I was not happy, because yeah, the car was clean, but there were marks on tires. So he took it to one of those car washes where there's like a conveyor, right? And so usually it's very narrow, and it keeps rubbing against your tires, and it leaves like very bad marks, you know, that are super hard to get rid of. Kind of like as if you know, rub against the curb. But this is like entire time he's there, like 10-15 minutes, he's rubbing against the edge of the conveyor, you know. So next time if somebody says, hey, I want to wash the car, just tell them, do not go on a conveyor style car wash. Go to the one where you pull in and you park the car, and then all these brushes are moving around you. And of course I don't like brushes, I like touchless touchless car wash. But that's just one example, you know. And then the first guy, remember, the first guy was moving something, and he left the trunk very dirty, and I tried to start a claim, and the rental company says send us pictures. So I sent them pictures. They said no, that's just regular dirt, that's common, it's easy to clean, claim denied. All right, but of course I took a bunch of pictures of exterior and interior, right? And so now I have to do the same, and if there's damage, I'm gonna, you know, file a claim. Let's say there's a broken window or something, you know, or what can be there? Well, usually it's typical would be a crack in the windshield, right? Or damaged wheel, maybe. Let's say if I warned this guy, I said, especially downtown, please beware of deeply recessed manhole covers. And I said, our roads here are terrible. They're very similar to Quebec, you know. Oh, I just got a message. He says I dropped it off. So he said 3 o'clock, now it's 4:30. And so now, actually, another interesting thing is that, like I said, it never happened before. Now I have to deal with customer service, because I cannot check him out. I cannot finish the trip because we'll see, because as far as the app is concerned, the trip still continues until tomorrow. So now he just sent me a message. He says he dropped it off. And he says he hit the key where I told him to. So we should be good. So now I'm gonna park on the street, because the spot in front of my apartment is now supposed to be taken by the Durango. And yeah, I hope there's no damage and everything is good. But yeah, now I have to call customer service, I guess. Oh, the guy has a flat tire, I think. Well, I'll show you guys the vehicle if I find anything unusual. Stand by. Well, as if by magic, the Durango reappeared 3 days later. Seems to be in one piece, but I haven't inspected it yet. I have to call the rental company and see how we can start the checkout process, since the trip is still continuing. So I spent 20 minutes on the phone with the help desk and checking the vehicle now. Here you see, this is the one from previous guest. A rock hit here, I did not notice it before. So I'm gonna check my paperwork, see if I'm allowed to do those free repairs, so that I can call the guys, and they come to your place. Yeah, and somebody else also did this. Now check this out. That wasn't there before. Is it dirt or is it a scratch? Wow, look at this. Well, I think it's not a scratch, it's just some smudges. Wow, the steering wheel is here. That's always good. Usually they leave it. Oh wow. Holy moly. Yeah, the guy did say that it's for the wedding, and he said he'll be using the third row. Man, I'll have to do a lot of cleaning. What is this? Drugs? Ice for heat relief. Wow. Now there's always you know, question. So what do I do? What do I leave the guy as a rate? You know, because if I give him bad rating, he'll give me a bad rating. Well, at least these things are here. But man, so yeah, he did say that he's going to the wedding, so, and he said that there'll be a lot of people in the car. What is that thing over here? Some toys or something? Yeah, so there was definitely a lot of people here, but you know, you just vacuum, and I have a special spray for carpets. I don't see any significant damage. It's just dirt. But yeah, this is just, you know, pigsty, you know. Okay, so now I just want to walk around and take pictures and start the. But the guy sent me a big thank you. He says, "Oh, excellent car. I really enjoyed it," you know. But you know, it's a rental, right? That's what happens when you have a rental. So I'm not too upset, at least. There's no yeah, all the wheels are okay. Yeah. Yeah, I see that's just dirt. I just spit a little bit on this and it disappeared. So mirrors are okay, not broken, no chips, no new chips on the windshield. Both mufflers are in place. Yeah, he didn't sell them. Oh, better check the engine. I remember one idiot said the only reason people rent a vehicle like this is to swap the engine. I don't know what kind of village he lives in, but here it's not that common, you know. You see, still 5.7 V8. We're still good. Nothing is missing. So guys, relax. If things are that bad in your village, you probably should move, you know. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. So oh, and by the way, that phone call was a total waste of time, because I thought, you know, I was calling so that he can get a refund. Turns out they don't charge by the hour, they charge by the day. And so since he's late, he was supposed to return it at 11 and he returned it at 4:30, so they're going to charge him 1 extra day. So I'm still making extra money. So we all good. So next time, I told him, I said, so next time situation like this happens with the early return, I don't have to call, I can just wait till next day and then do the checkout, because the guest is getting no refund anyway, since he returned it later than he was supposed to, right? So we're good. Thanks for watching, guys.